Question 3. Preach limited budget includes the following estimates for the financial year 2021 with respect to its manufacturing activities. We have depreciation manufacturing equipments are in thousands, cost of manufacturing supplies, direct labor cost, rent on manufacturing facilities, direct material, manufacturing utility cost, maintenance cost for manufacturing, administrative salaries, and so forth. They are given. The company uses predetermined overhead absorption rate based on the machine hours. It was estimated that the machine hours usage for the year 2021 will be 30,000 hours. Required to identify the manufacturing overhead based that overhead cost that the preach will use to calculate the predetermined overhead rate. Then B or Roman 2 calculate the predetermined overhead absorption rate. Then Roman next, assuming that the preach actually used 29,200 machine hours during the financial year, determine the amount of manufacturing overhead it will have applied to work during the period. Therefore, we can now determine the manufacturing overhead. You can prepare that. Let me use it here because the question is long. Let me just write here. Manufacturing overhead. Manufacturing cost. In other words, they are just asking the cost of factor cost. We are going to start with the variables or direct material. We have the direct labor, which were given even if they're in thousands. Direct labor cost is given there. They're in thousands. We are writing it is 86,400. 86,400. And then we have direct material cost. Direct material cost. Direct material cost 74. Any other variable cost from the list we don't have. Therefore, we can do the computation of 86,400 plus 74. We have 160,400. 160,400. Then we have to add indirect cost. Indirect cost or other overheads. Now, in that case, we are going to include everything that is on our list that we have not already written there, which we start with depreciations. Depreciations on manufacturing, which is 17,200. 17,200. We have cost of manufacturing supplies. Cost of manufacturing supplies, which is 3,000. And then we have rent on manufacturing. Rent on manufacturing. Rent on manufacturing, which is 76. We have manufacturing utility cost. Utility cost, which is 6,000. We have maintenance cost. Maintenance cost, which is 52. We have administrative salaries. Administrative salaries, which is 30,000. What we do? Have 17,200 plus 3,000 plus 7,600 plus 6,000 plus 5,200 plus 30,000. We have 69,000. Therefore, you take 160,400, plus the answer we have 229. 229,400, that is the total factory cost. Factory cost. In other words, they are talking of factory manufacturing overhead cost. That's the factory cost. Number 2, calculate a predetermined overhead absorptions. Now, overhead absorption rate, we are going to take the predetermined, which is the factory cost of cotton, 29,400 to 29,400, divide by the units were 30 what? 30,000. Well, we are going to get, we carry 3 zeros. Now, therefore, this one we should use. Remember, we are truncating 3 zeros up there. Therefore, these particular figures, they are in thousands already. These are in thousands. Therefore, the figures we write, you have to just divide by 30. Divide by 30, you have the predetermined overhead absorption rate is 76 for 66,666. Now we can just round off to a whole number for 47. Then, assuming that the Preach Limited actually used 200 machine hours during the financial year 20, determined amount. Therefore, we can just take 7647. Now we multiply by 29,200. That's it. The answer, we multiply by 29,200. We have 223 to 82 666.7. That is 223,282,666.70 cents. Correct. And then you look at part B. Bondeni Manufacturing Limited pays its production manager bonus based on the company profitability. During the 2 most recent years, the company maintained the same cost structure to manufacture its products. The details are provided below. We have unit produced. At that point is 4,000. And unit source 4,000 for 2020-2021. Unit produced, we have been given 6,000 for 2021 and 2020. And unit sold as such. We have direct cost. We have been cost data. We have direct material, direct labor. We have been given. Manufacturing overhead variables have been given there. Manufacturing overhead, which is fixed. We have the variable selling and administrations. We also have been given. Variable selling and administration expenses is 40 shillings per unit is sold. Fixed selling and administration expenses have been given. Therefore, then limited sales revenue for both years was that. Then prepare the statement based on absorption costing for the year 2021. for the year 2021. Now, the first thing we are going to establish is the cost per unit. Cost per unit. Cost per what? Per unit. The cost per unit, we are just going to say that we have direct material. Direct material. That is 80. Direct labor. Which is 120. Manufacturing overhead. Manufacturing overhead or production overhead variable, which is 40. Then you are told the manufacturing overhead fixed. Fixed, which is 720. In that case, we can just determine the units that were produced. 720. Have 720 divided by the units produced, which were 4,000. Sorry, units produced. Okay, now therefore I have 20. 2020. And then we have 2021. This one will remain. That's what 80. Direct remain 120. Variable overhead will remain 40. Variable, and then we have this one, we divide by 400. Sorry. Yes, we have 180. If you divide by what? 4,000 units produced. And if we divide by 720 for 2021, we divide by 60, we have, it's going to be 80. Sorry, 720 divided by 6, have 120, sorry, 120. Therefore, you can add, you have 120 plus 40 plus 120 plus 80, have 360. And then this side we have 80 plus 120 plus 40 plus 180, have 420, 420. The other thing, let me compute a computation for closing inventory. Computations for closing inventory. We have unit produced. Remember, we are having two periods, 2020 and 2021. Now, units produced in 2020 were 4,000, and units produced in 2021 were 6,000. Unit sold, we have 4,000, and here we sold 4,000. Meaning here we did have the closing inventory, it was near, here we had 2,000, that is closing inventory, the ones we are going to use. Having said that, now it becomes easier for us to handle the question now going forward. You can say that absorption costing statement absorption costing statement. We start with sales. We have 2020 and we have 2021. we are told that condenses revenue for both years were that. Now here we had 23. Let me also try and get 3 zeros. That's 23. Then we do what? Less cost of sales. Cost of sales. We started production. Here we had how many units? It was 40. Units produced 4,000 multiplied by 420. Since we are carrying 3 zeros, let me just use 4. Multiplied by 420. Is it 420? Yes, 420. Then the other side will be 6,000 multiplied by 360. Therefore, 4,000 multiplied by 420. 4 multiplied by 420. 4 multiplied by 420, we have 1680. Then we have 6 multiplied by 360. We have 2160. Then less closing inventory. Remember, here was dash, and then here we had 360. We are multiplying by closing inventory of 2,000, which is equal to 720. Here with minus, we get 1680. 2300 minus 1680. We have 620. And then we have 2160 minus 720. We have 1440. Then 2300 minus the answer, we have 860. 860. The next step is we less. Now that is the cross profit. Then less all other overheads. Less all other overheads. What were they? Overheads, we start with the variable selling and administrations. Variable selling. We are told that is 40%, 40 shillings per unit sold. 40 shillings per unit sold. In 2020, we sold, that is 4,000. Now it has 40. 40 multiplied by 4. We are having here, that's 40 multiplied by 4. We have 160. The same case, I guess it's what we sold in 2021. It's going to be 160. Then we are told another thing. Fixed selling administrations. Fixed selling and admin. Here is 300. Here is 300. Anything else from the list that we might forget? From my side, I don't see any. If we add here, we are getting 460 and the same 460. 620. 620 minus 460. Have a profit of 160. Then 860 minus 460, you have a profit of 400. This is a net profit under absorption costing. Since it is absorption costing, we combined the total cost. We are not separating the fixed cost from the variable cost. We just use both the fixed and the variable cost. To do that, you scoop the entire 10 marks for section, for part B.